everyone, and welcome again to Wrestling at the Movies. I'm Steve Pearson, along with
Elliot Redding.
And on today's episode, we're going to be reviewing Hell Comes to Frogtown, a great movie starring Roddy Piper, Sandahl Bergman, and I don't know anyone else in there, do you?
I didn't know anyone past Roddy Piper.
No, sure. Well, this is actually Piper's second movie, following on from Body Slam. It's not quite They Live, which was his finest hour.
Yes.
In films at least. But it has its moments if you're in the mood for a bit of sleaze and a bit of trash and a bit of schlock.
To put it in a more bluntly way, it's literally like if you took the sex scenes out of a full porno movie and just left in the acting.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It is.
It is a film.
It is a film. Yes,
it's a film.
It definitely exists.
Barely at 1 hour, just over 1 hour 20.
Yeah,
the credits.
It fits into the Roger Corman notion of no film should go longer than 120, 130, and it definitely feels like a.
There's no filler in this
film.
No.
It's actually very well paced.
I think,
you know.
there's always something happening.
Yeah. There's no padding. There's no
There's definitely no padding because nearly every woman in this fucking film has her tits out, so there's definitely no padding.
There's no padding, alright, some of those girls are stacked.
This is very, very true of the era of, not like today where it's like curvy is more of the attractiveness. This is just like, you are pencil thin, you do not have an arse, and you have tiny tits.
Yes. This was the 1980s where everything was...
If you wanted a child, but as an adult, this is what you got.
Yes. Well, funny personal story. When I first watched this film,
I'm worried now because I just went from child to this.
Calm the hell down. It's not quite that exciting.
Operation U-Tree?
When I first watched this film, I watched it because it had Roddy Piper in. I was a big Roddy Piper fan and still am. He's one of my favourites. But I went out of my way to watch the film because I was a Roddy Piper fan. Rented it from the video shop back in the days before you could just stream a film on the on your Netflix.
Back in went down to video shop.
Back where you had to physically move your legs.
Is this before Blockbuster?
Yes, well, but yes, it was
Blockbuster. Blockbuster had not come to England yet. Okay.
No, we were getting there, but we had a lovely place called Mr. Video. Very aptly titled. And guess what Mr. Video sold and rented? Videos. He was very good. Well, no confusion.
Was it like a very small Indian man, I imagine, that runs a corner shop and that's just on the side?
No, that was Mr. Asian Video.
That's Mr. Asian Man.
But anyway, I remember renting this film out and I was so excited because it had Roddy Piper in and it was Roddy Piper acting. I was sitting there watching it and my parents came in as Sandahl Bergman was doing a striptease. And
don't worry, I'm trained in the art of
seduction.
Art of seduction.
Yeah. My mum weren't happy, put it like that, because as far as she was concerned, I'd rented a porn film.
Yeah, you just had softcore porn.
Yeah. And that, took a long while to live that down, But anyway.
Did your dad borrow it after you were done?
Well, when I had it returned, in the old days with VHS, you would get certain scenes would go a bit blurry.
I've played too many times.
If there was pause marks on.
Oh yes.
And I remember watching it a second time, as you can imagine, I would have. And when you got to the nude parts, you got lines going through the screen where things were just slightly blurry, and they weren't there on the first viewing. So I think that it definitely got a lot of airing that weekend. A bit of background on the film. In 1987, I believe, the WWF done WrestleMania 3, where Roddy Piper fought Adrian Adonis in what was his retirement match. Everyone genuinely believed that Roddy was on the way out, and this was to be his swan song. And obviously he kept going until the bitter end, basically.
Yeah.
And it was an interesting one because Piper had done Body Slam, the Hal Needham picture. But this was the second film Roddy ever did. It was just before They Live, which again was his finest hour.
Well, I believe at this time as well, Roddy was very big on the backstage politics in the sense of not wanting to job, and that's what mainly did stop him a lot of the time in WWF, was not wanting to job. He was drawing more money doing the house shows with Flair than Hogan was working anyone on the other house shows, but he refused to lose to Flair on TV, so that's why he never got a major push. Yeah,
it was always a strange one, because this is back in the days where people were a bit more protective of their characters and a bit more protective of what they did, and Piper was always very clever not to do a job, not do a clean loss, until Bret Hart in '92 at WrestleMania 8.
He didn't do the job to Pat Patterson when he wanted them to either.
No, that's certainly rumoured. But anyway, yeah, so we have that period there where Piper's sort of in and out, but not sort of is, but isn't, but is, but isn't. And this is his second attempt at a movie. And he made some people regard this as a cult classic. Some people...
It definitely is a cult classic, but it's so of the time. Like, Piper doesn't really have a monologue in a sense of it. He mainly is a one-liner.
Yeah, which was the style of 80s action movies.
Oh, it's a cheese fest all the way through.
Oh, yeah, it is a cornbell fest. But,
and they don't hold back. They know what it's going to be.
Yeah, it's not Citizen Kane they're making. And they're aware of the fact that they are making a silly movie with nudity and frogs. So, on the subject of nudity and frogs, like I say, the film does have its moments. Plot-wise, what have we got exactly?
It's one of the greatest plots ever.
Roddy Piper plays Sam Hill.
Great name.
Is fitted with a huge chastity belt, which
is rigged with C4.
Yeah.
For the chance that if he travels too far away from his keeper, they will blow his dick off.
Yeah.
His dick is owned by the government because he has signed it away to a contract, and his main job is to bang and impregnate as many wasteland women as possible because of a nuclear war. I think they say that the male
population has been deceased by 60% during a war.
68% from the nuclear war.
During the war. And Roddy is one of the last fertile men alive, and therefore it is his duty to mankind to impregnate as many women as humanly possible.
And not just fertile. Like, you can tell by the reactions in this by the actresses. He's packing a piece as well. He must be in this film.
Well, it's a very large contraption they put on him.
He's not just called Piper for a reason.
No, he does pipe her and her and her and her. It is definitely aptly told.
There we go. We've got the tagline now, haven't we? He just
go.
pipes her and her.
Roddy pipes her. But yeah, anyway, Piper was supposed to be known for that.
Oh god, yes. You can imagine this was just a normal day of him on the road at this point.
There you go. He probably didn't know the cameras were rolling.
No.
But anyway, back to the film, if you can call it that.
The filth.
Initially, there's a bit where he's being fitted with a chastity belt. They had this actress there, a black lady, who's bloody horrible.
Oh, she's the most stereotypical black actress, but just before that, he's being interrogated for a rape.
Yeah. It's like...
And the only reason he does not go to prison or to court for this rape is because the woman who said Roddy Piper raped me, she falls pregnant.
Yeah.
And because babies are such a rarity in this time and situation, the only reason she drops the charges is because he raped her so good that she is now pregnant.
Yeah.
He is being interrogated by her father, which seems to be a police chief or the security chief of some sort, who bottles him in the first 30 seconds of this film.
Yeah.
And the blood just looks like you've just got Dormio sauce and splattered it on someone. The budget did not go on the fucking fake blood. You could have gigged and it would have been better.
Yeah, so rape's okay so long as you impregnate the girl and you're in.
Then you get off. Yeah.
You're in a Mad Max sort of utopian future.
Yeah.
Well, times are tough. Anyway,
Me Too movement.
Yeah, we're moving on.
Take a lot.
Moving on for the rape jokes because there's too many of them anyway.
Yeah. There's more to come. We won't skip over them.
Yep. Piper shags a gun girl. There's a girl in it who's got a machine gun and she polishes it quite a lot.
Yeah, it's a giant. It's just a giant. It's not innuendo. It's a giant. It's a phallic weapon, isn't it?
Yes.
It's what it's there for.
Yeah.
But it's the casualness of it.
Yeah.
They're just throwing themselves at Piper, and the best line, one of the better lines of the film, is just like, how do we do this? Because he's wearing the chastity belt, and it's like, oh, there's a flap.
There's a flap.
There's a flap.
Yes.
And you literally hear it, ba-dum, and shit, and you hear the flap undo, and you see her eyes just widen. Yeah. It's like, damn.
Piper gets seduced, and Nob's fertile girl, brackets, rapey.
And it's not as rapey, but it's rapey in the sense of she's been roofied.
Yeah.
They the mission that Piper is on is his main job is to impregnate as many wild women as they can find, but they're after certain women who have been taken captive, and that's the main mission, is to track them down. Why are they taking Piper with them? Surely he's like the one they should keep safe, and someone else should go in and get him. Yeah,
he should be in like a nice lab with nice furnishings, making sure his seed's pure and perfect.
But they find one of these women that's escaped through apparently they have tracking software implanted in them, so they find him on the tracker. They hog tie her,
Yeah, they do.
and then just leave her by the fire. And then it's like this woman just goes, "Go on, then get at it."
Yeah.
And Piper is just the funniest, complete opposite of any man in like any wrestler of the time.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, I can't do this. She's not that interested. While you know, going on at this time that they were just pulling drunk chicks out of bars.
Yeah. It's
just a casualness. The captive gets injected, and then it's right in the mood.
Yeah, and then when she wakes up after this, essentially a sexual assault, she's quite sort of like, oh, well, it happened. You know?
She's cuddling up to Piper. And the weirder thing of the film is, Piper has took the opportunity to clean her up as well.
He has. He's been gentle after a rape. You know.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's a strange one, but I don't know if that's normal behaviour. But
sorry, I've raped you, but let me just get that dirt out your face. Let's wipe away that tear.
Okay. It takes about 30 odd minutes before we see an actual fucking frog, basically. Finally, we get to Frogtown, which is just a nuclear dump, really, isn't it? It's just basically a nuclear power station, essentially.
I believe it's from the war, and the only things that did survive were the frogs, and that's why they were mutated into this. And for some reason, they don't like humans for this reason. They make a point of it, and it's like, we're only here because of you. You're now a fucking human being.
Yeah, you exist because...
You've evolved very quickly now.
You should be alright with things. You should think, we're pretty good, you know. We meet the first frog character, a female dancer, who I thought looked like Fabulous Moolah.
Oh God, yes, you're right.
Yeah. You know, I'd probably knobbed her a long time before I ever shagged Fabulous Moolah, mind. But I thought she looked like Fabulous Moolah personally. But yeah,
to be honest, Fabulous Moolah was a pimp.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, she probably pimped out better looking women than her, but
she did. That was. Yeah, Google Fabulous Moolah's wrestling school. Nearly every woman that she trained was pimped out to different territories. And she got all the money out of it as well.
Yeah.
Not good. She was an evil human being. How she's still in the Hall of Fame is fucking beyond me.
Well, that WF Hall of Fame basically reads like a police lineup anyway at the best of times. So
yeah,
there's some very choice characters in there. Well, we get a frog in a fez, which had a very Marlon Brando look about him. He owns a bar.
We are skipping over the fact that there is another weird scene with Piper and what's the main chick's name?
What was her name?
You know the actress. Well, you know the actress anyway. Spangle.
Spangle.
For some reason, is the main the lead scientist woman's name. Don't know why. Spangle. I like it though. Sam Hell and Spangle. It does sound like a really shitty cowboy movie.
That does indeed.
She goes full on like, I'm just going to dress like a whore. I'm going to put a chain collar around my neck, and I'm going to pretend to be your charisma.
Yeah.
Piper gets a bit too into it at first. He grabs the collar. It's like, oh, shoes on the other foot now, bitch.
Yeah.
And this is the first point where you start to see Piper's, because he's funny throughout this whole film. Like first acting proper you can't call it a serious acting role because it is a cheesy movie.
Yeah.
But this is the first point where I really think that you see Piper have a more human side, because you do before he has relations with the wild woman which they capture. The Spangle does try and get him in the mood, in a sense, and he does tell her it's like a drunk woman at a bar who's coming on to you. You just want to put a coat round her and give her a cup of tea and walk her home. In a sense, like you don't have to do that. You're fine. But when she's getting hauled up to be his pretend captive, he changes in a sec. First, he's just like grabbing her, saying, "Oh no, we're going to do things my way now," and then he's like, "Take the collar off. You don't need it. You're going to be fine. I'll look after you."
Yeah.
Like you can see feelings start to emerge.
Yeah, it was sort of
empathy.
I suppose it's kind of a riff on the wrestling adage of the babyface kisses the heel woman when she keeps interfering and stuff in matches.
Because even in wrestling this time, really, we weren't much further than Miss Elizabeth and stuff like that.
No.
Female valets and stuff like that, or like Sensational Sherry. They weren't even really slutty eye candy either at this point.
No.
Obviously, there would be slutty eye candy, but they didn't talk.
No, they were always very demure.
They were just there.
They were nice and demure back in them days. The heel of the place is introduced, and you can tell he's a heel because he's got an eye patch.
Yeah. Essentially, they're all.
Yeah. Roddy pulls again and offers the Moolah-looking frog lady chef's pleasure bag.
Yes. The fabulous Moolah-looking frog lady is also their informant on the inside.
Let's just call her Moolah. Be done with it.
Moolah.
They should have called it that anyway.
You can tell the only thing I do like about this film is it's one of the earliest films which I've seen with very obvious product placement. Is when the fact that they give Roddy one drink and he's like, oh, it tastes like fucking shit. They give him another one, he's like, oh my god, this is beer. And it just cuts to a fucking freeze frame of like a dirty looking Coors Light bottle. And it's like, we found some. He's like, this is amazing. Like literally like he's holding it up to the camera like for a fucking advert. And then it's like, it's only slightly radiated.
If Coors wishes to endorse this podcast, we're more than happy.
Please do. You've done worse. You've been using Jean-Claude Van Damme the past couple of years. I think we could do a better job. Although I will not be doing splits between two fucking moving semis.
No. But we will be cheaper than Van Damme.
Yes.
If that's possible.
Oh, yeah, that's a fair point.
I've got... Roddy gets kidnapped, and we get the part where...
They both get kidnapped.
Yeah, everyone gets kidnapped. Bit of a kidnap first. They try and take his chastity belt off with a chainsaw. So
Comedically runs out of fuel.
Yeah, we get a lovely visual of a frog with a chainsaw, if that's your thing.
It very much reminds me of Goldfinger in a sense, where Bond's strapped to the table and is like, what are you going to do to me?
Yeah.
It's like, no, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Yeah.
Oh, you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, you expect you to die. This has the same thing where it's just like, the chainsaw runs out of fuel and the Piper's like, what now then? And the frog just goes, I'm going to get more fuel. It's just like, what the fuck do you think I'm going to do? This is still going to happen. And he tries to warn him because Piper this whole time is convinced that if he strays too far from Spangle or the chastity belt is interfered with, his dick and the rest of him is going to get blown off with a pound of C4. Whole time he's been lied to, so he's been fucking through a flap for nothing.
Fucking through a flap. That's the name of the show. Fucking through a flap.
So it's like the over 18 version of Through the Keyhole.
And now I'll you one fucking through the flap.
Just before that, we're going to finish off with songs of praise.
Okay. Frog with a chainsaw, ponderous sex preparation.
Jesus Christ, this is the beginning of a fucking 80s porno. Yeah. Even the sex jazz hits in. That's literally the main note I have on this film on my phone. In fucking capital letters is sex jazz music. Nice.
Yeah, sex jazz music.
While she's getting fanned by about 12 other chicks, which are the other captors which they're looking for. And they're all just like, you have to relax because the three-headed demons, you have to be careful. We have to make sure you're nice and warm because if you're too cold, you could be going to shock and die.
The dance of the three-headed snakes.
Yes.
Which we'll cover in just a second.
It's exactly what you think it is.
Yeah.
And thank fuck you don't see it.
After a long, ponderous sex scene, I've got written here, long ponderous sex preparation.
Yes, ultimate foreplay.
Moolah gets stabbed and dies. Sadly, it's the frog Moolah, not the fabulous Moolah, but that's another story.
Yeah.
The girl does the dance of the three-headed snakes for the big villain of the piece.
And it's like, you can tell what the fuck was she doing?
Yeah, she's literally had like one dance lesson.
Yeah, it's like, looks like she's just like, the only dance I know is my jazzercise tape, which I do. It's like, let's get physical. It's like, fucking hell. I know it's supposed to be on purpose in a sense. She's supposed to look like, because she's a nerd. She's supposed to be awkwardly sexy. So it's just, fucking hell.
This arouses. We even get a ding in his codpiece.
You see him literally twitch hard. He's rubbing his knee. He's rubbing his knee like a sexual deviant. Yeah, which you're like, okay, we get the point. And then it's just like, da da da. It's like, fucking hell.
He gets an erection. The frog gets an erection. Even though frogs are hermaphrodites, I don't know how that works.
Yeah. And his two soldiers are even looking away with guns and they're just like, oh, Jesus.
Like, oh, God, we've got to see the boss's dick again. Oh, God.
Dicks.
Jesus
Dicks.
Christ.
Not even dick.
Anyway, he then gets aroused and basically he then offers himself to
come here and dance with the three-headed snake.
Dance with the three-headed snake. He lifts up his robe.
That's luckily that you don't see anything. You just see her reaction, and it's literally like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna throw up! What the fuck is that?" Because obviously they've been mutated as well.
Yeah, he has 3 dicks basically.
Can we just say though, the only thing we haven't said so far is, fucking hell, the budget of this film, the prosthetics in this film for the characters. Like obviously the dubbing over the top, it's like a puppet mouth opening, and you can tell that's just where they're looking out for it.
The frogs look brilliant.
They look amazing for what a film is. I don't know, straight to VHS in these days?
Well, yeah, I suppose.
Can't have been shown in many cinemas.
No, no good one.
You couldn't have advertised it. It would have been it would have probably been an 8. There's nudity.
But yeah, anyway, the dance of the three snakes.
A twist.
Yeah, a frog gets a boner. He has 3 knobs. The girl refuses him and kicks him in the nuts 3 times.
Good old Spangle.
Giving him more low blows than a Ric Flair match.
Oh, well done. Well done.
But yeah. Naturally, we then have a car chase like Mad Max because this is a blatant Mad Max.
Oh yeah, you have them running. Before that, she has to pretend like she's had sex with him.
Yeah.
So like, oh, Cat gets like pretends to faint, gets caught by the guys like the 3-headed snakes, and then takes the gun, passes it to Roddy, bang bang. You do get the stereotypical we're going to escape into the car chasing. What I want to know is, where the fuck did they film this? I feel like they must have gone to like a war-torn country because there's like whole massively abandoned buildings and like blown up buildings. It literally looks like a war zone. It's not set. These are not sets on the outside which they're driving through.
No, aesthetically they've done a good job here.
It's amazing.
For what I imagine was a
low budget.
Yeah, I can't imagine that was more than a few million at a time.
Well, if not, most of the budget had to go into the prosthetics to make that look real. That's where most of
but we didn't see the prosthetic of the 3-headed snake.
Thank
Red dragon or whatever.
God.
Sadly. We have a car chase that isn't that good. Then they get stopped by a mystery figure in a mask, which turns out to be
the father of the girl who Roddy rapes in the beginning.
Rapes in the start of the film. Yeah.
So, like in a weird way, a sort of Liam Neeson anti-hero.
Yeah.
Like if they had communication devices, he would have tried to fuck. He does have a special set of skills. Apparently, it's just stopping fucking cars in the middle of the desert.
Sure.
And he did find them.
We have a sort of semi-shootout, which doesn't really go anywhere, basically.
Not really. That they didn't have the budget for.
No, they never budget for a big shootout. Roddy kills him. Then
with a fucking samurai sword. One of the better lines in the film is he's like standing in front of the hostages which they've saved, the other women.
Yeah.
And he's one of the blokes giving a full fucking Shakespeare monologue about what he's going to do and why he's going to do it.
Yeah.
He's just like behind him. One of the chicks is going, pass me the sword, pass me it. And I'm a pacifist. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
She ends up, he fucking chucks it, dead bullseye to the heart. The fucker still somehow survives after falling off like a 30-foot cliff as well.
Sure. We then get the frogs turn up, basically. And,
in a bigger fucking car. In a car which has been like somehow turned into a tank.
Yeah, in the Mad Max car, basically. They turn up. Then Roddy turns up with a big bazooka that he got from the man, basically. They killed a minute ago. Then after that, they basically...
They have a fake-out scene. After he kills the bloke with the samurai sword and then chases him down and kills him again with the gun because he somehow survives a samurai sword and a 30-foot fall.
They have your Sherlock Holmes Moriarty fight above a mountain.
Oh, it was amazing.
Which is brilliant.
It's like Samurai Cop.
Yep, it's Samurai Cock. It's not as good as Roddy Piper and Keith David in They Live, but nothing is.
Nothing will be.
Nothing beats that. We do, however, get Roddy Piper's old eye poke gag.
Yes.
Which
it's not the only wrestling move that's really in it, but it's the right one.
It is. It's
how he spreads his fingers far enough to get both fucking frog eyes. I don't know, but nonetheless.
And the frog sells it perfectly.
I did have finger poke of doom, but eye poke of
doom. It was brilliantly done. After that, we then have the frog falls over the end, and that kills him. Then we get to the final part at the end where basically Piper, I think, more or less just pumps a ball. Film a soldier's work has never done.
Oh yeah, that's the moment it should have fucking just like zoomed in on his face like at the end of a Looney Tunes film and wink.
And that's all, folks.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was Hell Comes to Frogtown. It wasn't a bad film.
No.
I think a few drinks down you and you'll appreciate it more than you would sober.
Yeah, don't go into it seriously.
No.
It's not They Live.
No, it's not.
Watch They Live after this, and you'll have more respect for both films, I think.
Yeah. So this concludes this week's episode of Wrestling at the Movies, where we happened to watch Hell Comes to Frogtown, a great little movie starring Roddy Piper that some of us happened to enjoy, even if not everyone else did.
It's an amazing film. It's such worth a watch.
Sure. If the idea of the apocalypse, if the idea of Mad Max with frogs with a reduced budget appeals to you, then this is the film for you.
And more nudity.
Much more nudity. I've been Stevie Pearson.
I've been Elliot Redding.
And this has been Wrestling at the Movies. We'll see you at the matches.